This is the Herd Line News.
Well, the Browns may have set a new precedent by signing Deshaun Watson to a fully guaranteed deal.
Yeah.
The Ravens are still working on a deal with Lamar Jackson, and team owner Steve Bisciotti thinks Watson's contract will have ripple effects throughout the league. He said, I'm trying to answer that when I had a reaction to it, and it's like, damn, I wish they hadn't guaranteed the whole contract. I don't know that he should have been the first guy to get a fully guaranteed contract. To me, that's something that is groundbreaking, and it'll make negotiations harder with others, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to play that game, you know.
Yeah. You know, that's something I've had discussions on a lot with people, like management people in our business, is just because Cleveland, a dysfunctional franchise, did something,
right,
we don't have to do. I've worked at networks, and they're like, yeah, that network did that. That's not how we run our business. So I understand his concern, but I don't think, like, I would just say, we're not going to do what Cleveland did. When have we ever followed Cleveland's lead in the NFL?
Correct. I don't think that owners were happy about this deal.
Oh, no, they weren't.
And it is unprecedented. And precedent is always the word that people use in negotiations. Well, we can't give you this because we can't set that precedent. Because then now someone else will hear that, oh, this person got that and I want that too. And you can't say no because you gave it to this person and I'm bigger than this person. And that's how negotiations go. So when you fully guarantee a contract for a guy, by the way, who has 22 lawsuits still open, that sets an enormous precedent. Because if you're someone like Lamar Jackson, who's won a league MVP, who played last year,
who wins a lot,
yeah, who is clearly the future of the franchise and has been nothing but a great ambassador for the league and for your team,
yeah,
he walks in the room and says, well, if you're going to give Deshaun Watson, who might not play for a majority of this year, who has people in your fan base canceling season tickets because you signed him, you're not going to guarantee my contract? And listen, if I'm a player, that is exactly what I would say.
Oh, and that's what the player's agent will say. So, yeah, I mean, it's I remember this is about 20 years ago. Albert Bell signed a contract. Jerry Reinsdorf, I think, was the owner. I don't know why I connect those two. Maybe I'm wrong. But I remember the league was upset with it. Now, the league will be fine. But I will say this. Lamar Jackson is so much about winning. Remember, Stafford took a team-friendly deal.
You're right.
If you and I had to guess tomorrow, Joe Burrow would take a team-friendly deal.
I think he will, yes.
Brady did it. Now, that's not Aaron's DNA, and it may not be Kyler Murray's. My guess is Lamar wouldn't do that. That Lamar's DNA tells me he's so into winning, and he understands it. I do think there are players and agents that would do that. I don't think Lamar would.
I also agree with you that the Browns' way of doing things is not how, who's ever looked at the Browns like, that's a good idea, we'll take that. That's worked out well for them. We have no idea if this is even going to work out well for the Browns.
There is no indication, I guess, is what I'm saying, that Lamar is driven by money. Now,
No. And I do think that they're going to get a long-term deal done, and they should get it done.
Yeah.
And they should pay him, and they should probably not take the most perfect team deal for someone like Lamar Jackson in the point that he is in his career. It's not going to be a bad deal for Lamar Jackson at this point. You know what he is.
Players historically, now Aaron's an exception, players historically want to win. They really do. I saw the Heatles. People took pay cuts. I liked the Warriors. Durant took less money.
Right.
Like, if you look at the history of pro sports, the great athletes want to win. Dwayne Wade took multiple cuts because of Shaq, because of LeBron, Matt Stafford, Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen could be making $55 million a year had he waited. He's making 43. Why? Small town kid. He wants to win games.
And he has $150 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
So the two quarterbacks with the most guaranteed money are Josh Allen with $150 million guaranteed and Aaron Rodgers with $150.7 million guaranteed. Yeah. I'm with you. Nothing is everything or all. Like that, you have the initial panic when you hear news like this, but there's always going to be players who understand it or who make enough in endorsements or who just want to be flexible in that way. And then there's going to be players like Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson who want everything guaranteed. But the problem is the precedent of it. So now if you are not a Deshaun Watson with 22 open civil cases and have played last year and, have the credentials to be at that level, you can put that on the table. Well, maybe we're not getting all of it guaranteed, but we're going to get more than you planned on it. So the Niners still haven't traded Jimmy Garoppolo and don't seem to be in a rush to move him. They're still focusing on Trey Lance as the starter, and Kyle Shanahan is content to keep Jimmy until the time is right.
You always want to upgrade your team, and usually only one guy can play. And we know we have all guys that are capable of starting, which Jimmy's done a great job for us. We brought Trey here to be that eventually, and I think that'll be sooner than later. But when Jimmy gets his surgery, and we can't upgrade our team by getting some good picks until his surgery, until people feel good about that, I'm all right with that. I mean, we're not just getting rid of him to get rid of him.
I just don't know. The 49ers owner Jed York also said that they'd be fine with keeping Jimmy G next season, even as the backup. He said, if we're going to overinvest in something, I'd rather overinvest in the quarterback position than anything else.
That makes sense. I get that.
I understand that.
Yeah, as long as Trey gets most of the snaps, that's the key here. We have a developing player. He needs snaps, OTAs, camps, preseason.
He has to get all of them.
Yeah, you'd think. Justin Fields with Andy Dalton, you saw the nonsense.
It's nonsense.
It just doesn't work.
It doesn't work. And Jimmy Garoppolo is actually quite capable and wins games.
Oh, yeah.
So I understand. It sounds nice, but I never buy into, unless you are in a complete bridge situation, I don't buy into having two quarterbacks. Like, I get what you're saying. It's nice to have an abundance of talent at that position, and you're not paying Trey Lance, so whatever you slot to pay that position, you're actually not paying that much. But I think this is really just coming down to there's not a market for Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not going to go to the Seahawks. Not going to trade him in division.
Right.
When he can win games the way that he can. Carolina is not going to bring him in. They can't afford him. So, and nobody wants to take that. Nobody wanted to take that risk after they found out he had surgery.
You said it yesterday. Wait till somebody gets hurt. That's probably what they're doing.
But I just don't. But the problem is the cap hits.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, if it wasn't a major cap hit, I would understand. But the cap hit is what makes me suspicious.
Yeah, it's a good drama, right? They're going to be one of the more Chicago and San Francisco. We've got two potential star quarterbacks. I like and by the way, rosters, especially in San Francisco, good enough to win. Like, I like these kind of stories.
I'm very excited to watch Trey Lance and Justin Fields this year. So before Russell Wilson was traded to the Broncos, the Eagles were heavily linked to him and potentially looking to upgrade from Jalen Hurts, but obviously Russ did not go there. And Nick Sirianni is reaffirming the team's commitment and is excited for Jalen Hurts' ongoing development.
I couldn't be more excited about Jalen Hurts and, again, the type of player he is, the type of person he is. I know he's going to continue to develop because of who he is. And so I couldn't be more excited to work with him, and I know he knows that. I know that he's excited to work with us and to build on the good year that he had last year. And so he knows he's our guy, and we show him that with our actions day in, day out.
I do have a problem with them being in the Russell Wilson sweepstakes.
I will say this, though. It is funny. The idea that you tell somebody, hey, you're my guy for 12 months. Like, honestly, if Ann would have come to me when we get married, listen, I'm all in for 12 months. I'd be like, that's not really all in. It's funny. We say, everybody in Philadelphia, hey, we have got your back. What you're saying is until about Thanksgiving. It is.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's...
Sports
unlike marriage, that you are only as good as you are lately. Like, that's what it is. Jalen had a nice year last year, but he does have some places he still needs to develop. I like him as a player. I think if he can refine a little bit, he needs to work on his deep ball and accuracy a little bit over this offseason.
Listen,
but he's a really young player.
They got to the playoffs. They were bad at wide receiver, which is really important. So they're one of those classic, I don't know what the ceiling is. My guess is it's not terribly high. When you get to the playoffs in this league, you're doing something right.
Oh, I think they had a tremendous year last year.
Oh, my God.
I think we
wildly overachieved.
Very openly said we were wrong about Sirianni.
Yep.
He's clearly
way
capable.
Better at the microphone now, wears better shirts. He's got his act together. He's upgraded.
He clearly did a lot right last year.
He did.
And Hurts is the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 4,000 yards and rush for 1,000 yards in his first 20 career starts.
We always said that. He is productive.
He's productive.
It's not
he's
pretty.
Mobile. And yes, it's still a little clunky. That's what I'm saying. It needs to be more refined.
Yes.
But if they can, mess with that a little bit. But yeah, no, the idea that he's your guy, like, no, he's not, because you would not be talking about Russell Wilson if that was 100%
it's like
true.
Tua, in Miami, you got to be very careful. Everybody's got a side. We love you, Tua.
They're very crazy about Tua in Miami. Just believe me. But I do think that they should give Jalen Hurts this year. And if he doesn't refine the things and fix the things that he was struggling with, then that's fair. But they should move forward with Jalen Hurts this year.
Good stuff around the corner. Joy with the news. I saw something.
That's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.